The Samsung Galaxy S20 Plus is one of the great smartphones here in the early 2020. Now, this is the sort of phone that unless you have the money, you've got that much money, you can just go ahead and drop right up front for the phone. You're going to want to get on a monthly payment plan. And ideally, for somebody like me, and especially in this economy right now around the world, you're going to want to try to get it on some sort of monthly promotion or some sort of trade-in deal, which that sort of thing is going on all the time with either Samsung directly through their website or through your carrier. It is a terrific phone. Really, I don't have too much negative to say about this phone, except for maybe the camera protrusion in the back, even though the cameras work very well. And the fact that this phone is very slippery, so you'll need a case and it'll take care of the slipperiness and that camera hump. On the left side of the phone, it's clean, as you can see there. Across the top, you've got the SIM card / SD card tray on the right side. You got the volume rocker and the power button, which doubles as a Bixby button. Across the bottom, you've got the speaker and the USB-C port. Of course, there's no headphone jack, but I think we all have come to accept that with the modern day flagships by now. Doesn't make it right, but hey, you know what, whatever. You see that camera hump there on the back, and we'll talk about the cameras here in a little bit more detail a little bit later. You have dual speakers across the top there around where the front-facing camera is at. You've got another speaker. They sound good. In combination, these dual speakers, they sound very good. The phone reverberates as a little bit of a dramatic effect when you do have the sound cranked up, a little bit of bass to it. Pretty good clarity. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all with the performance of the speaker. You have an in-screen fingerprint sensor, and for the best experience, you want always on display turned on. This way you know where to lay your finger. When you do so, 99% of the time, the phone is going to unlock and it's going to be a good experience for you. Also, you've got face unlock, but in order to be able to use that, you have to have the screen wake up. So if you don't have the screen wake up like what you see here, then you're not going to be able to use face unlock. So you got a couple of options. Of course, you got the PIN and password as well. You can use those options. Now, the power button by default is set to Bixby. Thankfully, you can turn that off. Because Samsung set that by default, a second option to be able to turn off the phone is through the notification shade. Now I'm showing you what's happening there. Once you turn off Bixby, the power button works like normal. You can turn it off in the notification shade. There's your option to be able to turn the phone off that way. And you can see I'm comparing the S20 Plus to my Note 8. They're about the same size. They're about the same weight. Of course, both have that premium feel and look to it, with the S20 Plus being a little narrower, but overall, again, the same premium feel, same weight, roughly the same size. The displays between the two of them, Samsung with their flagships are usually at the top of the list year in and year out. The S20 Plus is an exceptional display. Now, if you've got a discerning eye, I can kind of see it here in the video. The Note 8 looks a little more saturated. That's because the S20 Plus, I've got it set in natural, and I think there's two options within the settings. You can go with natural or you can go with vivid, and I've got it set to natural right now. The S20 Plus, following the tradition with Samsung when it comes to their flagship displays. And with that little pinhole front-facing camera there, you've got nearly all screen, and you combine that with the dual speakers, it makes for a great multimedia experience. Now, look at this thing flow at 120 hertz, or is it at 120 hertz? Now, we got the Snapdragon 865 processor and 12 gigabytes of RAM, so no matter what the setting you've got it at, this thing hustles and flows. It really does. And as you can see, it's at 60 hertz. So when you're at 120 hertz, it's not going to show up so well on this video. But at 120 hertz, this thing is just so smooth. It's awesome. It really is. Now, for me, I can go back to 60 hertz. It's not a big deal. In fact, most of the time I keep the phone at 60 hertz just because 120 hertz will drain the battery so quickly. If you choose to keep it at 120 hertz, which again, that's one of the reasons why you buy this phone in the first place, then just if you're under heavy usage, you're probably going to need to charge the phone before the end of the day. So that's just the reality of it. But you do have wireless charging. You got fast charging, 0 to 50% in probably about 30-35 minutes. So while the phone's not going to be a battery life champ at 120 hertz, you can't have it all, at least not yet anyways. So do keep that in mind. Again, this phone with its specs, just ultra smooth. And let's talk about the camera. I'm going to spend some time on that. Now, yeah, this is a 64 megapixel camera, and in fact, let me just kind of go through all of the cameras. I'm going to go right off of Samsung's website, just read it to you. You've got the 64 megapixel telephoto camera, that's what we're looking at here, which will pick up incredible detail in most cases as you pinch to zoom. You also have the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, the 12 megapixel wide angle camera, and the depth vision camera. It says it has space zoom. That's just what it says on Samsung's website. Hybrid optical zoom 3 times and super resolution zoom up to 30 times. And then just so you know, the front-facing camera, that is 10 megapixels. Now, my focus is on the rear cameras, and as you can see, we're set to the 4:3 setting there, or 3:4 as I have the phone oriented, and 64 megapixels. And again, that particular camera, when you pinch to zoom, if your pictures are coming out focused, which most of your pictures are going to, then you're going to be able to zoom in, or pinch to zoom, that is, and then get incredible detail, or pick up incredible detail that you would not normally otherwise pick up. Now, as you can see as I'm talking here, all the settings that you've got on here with these 4 cameras, I mean, there's just no shortage of settings. Of course, with the video, you can go up to 8K, but unless you have an 8K TV or something 8K in which to view the video on, I don't think 8K is too useful. Even as you're recording, I think it's 8K at about 24 frames per second. I think that the stabilization is not really a thing on there, and at least from my experience with using it, the picture does not come out looking as good. Of course, I only got up to a 4K screen in which to view it, and so it doesn't really look like much of anything. So it's there. I guess this is something for the future anyway, once we're all able to afford 8K televisions. You've got so many options with this camera, or with these cameras on the rear-facing camera. So to me, it is a photographer's delight. And remember, this is still a smartphone, but if you love taking pictures and videos, as you can see from some of the videos that I have, I kind of like to get nature shots, if you will, or landscape type photos and videos. This phone is probably worth the price. I mean, ideally at a discount, but it's worth the price just for its cameras. But of course, it's got a fantastic display, 120 hertz refresh rate. It has 5G. It has great sounding speakers, great call quality, and it just all the things that you would expect from a Samsung flagship or any flagship here in 2020. It's a great buy, again, at a discount that I would definitely recommend. And please don't think of this as a Samsung advertisement. The reality is that this is just a great 2020 flagship, and it has pretty much everything that you would be looking for in a flagship phone today. Now, I'll leave links in the description if you want to see more of the video capabilities of this phone. I'll leave a couple of links in the description, you'll see. And then also I'll leave a link in the description for Samsung's website if you want to look at technical specifications. Thank you very much for watching.